Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. I'm going to attempt to shed some light on the real impact of Obama's war on coal on all of us in the United States. And I'm going to do my best at this because I think it's time we all start thinking about connecting the dots and trying to really understand where Obama's policies are taking this country and what it means for the future for us and our children and our grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So let me connect some dots here for you. I hope that everybody that's watching this video has watched Colonel Kerry's last video on the war on coal. If you haven't, I'll put a link to that underneath this because I think it's very important to watch that first, kind of like a prereq for this class, if you will. The thing for me at least is, when I listened to Kerry's video and she really explained the impact that Obama's war on coal was going to have on residential electricity bills, it dawned on me that I think most people, although, I completely understand this, but most people can't think beyond the impact that it has directly in their everyday lives. And Kerry did a very excellent job in pointing out that, basically when you open up your electric bill, it's necessarily going to be ginormous compared to what you were paying. And if you're budgeting on a tight budget as it is, I think it's really going to be impossible for you to pay that electric bill or your other bills for that matter. You will be in a position where you are deciding whether or not you're going to pay for medicines or pay for food or keep your lights on. And a lot of people in this country heat with electric. So these policies, I think, ultimately in the end may actually cost people lives. But let me open up a whole nother chapter or a whole nother level to what this war on coal means to people. All right, now, in order to do this, I need to explain a little bit about my personal self or my personal life, my history. When I was in my early 20s, I used to work for a company in Toledo, Ohio called Libby Glass. And Libby Glass made things like this, drinking glasses. And you could tell Libby Glass because somewhere on the bottom, I don't believe this is Libby Glass, it isn't. Somewhere on the bottom there will be like a cursive L. That's it. So I worked there for a long enough period of time to realize that I did not want to be a factory rat. I just didn't. God bless those people. My mom worked 34 years in that factory. And it's hard work. It really is. That was the job that told me that maybe I better get an education. Because it just wasn't what I was looking for. So, I want to tell you about one of the jobs I had while I was there. One of the jobs that I had while I was there, I didn't want to bring 8 glasses out, so I just dragged 2. But I would have boxes to the left of me of blank glasses with no design whatsoever on them. And I would take my left hand and I would do 4 glasses. Okay, picture there's two glasses here. And I would take my right hand and I'd have 4 glasses. I would take from the box and stick them into a hopper. And this hopper then would run them around and through the chute. And when it did, it would count them. Each one it would count. So that would be 1. That would be 2. And it went through a machine that painted the design you see on this. It would paint that type of stuff on there. I think the last ones I did said something like enjoy Coca-Cola or something like that. And in one shift, at the end of my shift, there was a digital counter. And that digital counter said 80,000. Yeah, these 2 hands, literally 4 glasses in each hand at a time into the hopper, 80,000 glasses. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I remember I was working second shift, and I went to the bar after I got out of work to meet my friends, like young people do. And I got a full Budweiser. I hadn't even taken a sip out of it yet, and I had it in my hand. And all of a sudden, I was talking to a friend of mine, and all of a sudden I heard this boom. And I looked down, and there was the bottle of beer that I just bought. It came out of my hands. My hands were numb. Both hands were just numb. Okay, so what's the point of all that? What's this got to do with coal? Coal. Okay, it has a lot to do with coal. It has a lot to do with your life, believe it or not. Okay? Because even if you don't use drinking glasses, you realize that Libby Glass is one of the largest manufacturers in Toledo. They employ a lot of people, and the jobs are decent paying with benefits. Okay. We did not use coal per se at Libby Glass, but what we did use was a tremendous amount of electricity, as most commercial factories in the United States do. The commercial use of electricity in this country is enormous. It's absolutely enormous. One of the things that's always given the United States an edge in manufacturing is our abundance of cheap energy, also known as coal. Okay? One of the other things that Libby Glass used a tremendous amount of to make this was natural gas. Libby Glass literally melts sand to make glassware. And that takes a lot of natural gas, a ton of natural gas. Okay? Now, so the electricity that Libby Glass was using, and I'm using Libby Glass really as just an example of industrial use of resources. The electricity that Libby Glass was using was generated by a coal-burning power plant, not far actually from the plant itself. The natural gas that Libby Glass was using, I'm not sure who their supplier was, but I'm going to assume it was Columbia Gas of Ohio. And prices being what they were made Libby Glass competitive on a global scale, because that's what they were. They were a company that manufactured. In fact, they're at least at that time, they were the largest manufacturer of tableware glass in the world. Okay, now I don't know if that's changed. It's been a long, long time since I've worked for Libby Glass. But having said that, here's the thing. When the electric change goes, when the electric bills start going up, when electricity starts costing a lot more money, because Obama has a war on coal, okay, that is going to be passed on to the consumer, which means that when you could buy these glasses at one point at a reasonable price, now they're a lot more expensive. But here's the problem. Not only are they a lot more expensive, but Libby Glass is not going to have any kind of a competitive edge in the glass manufacturing in this world, which means that these glasses will most likely be manufactured in places like China and shipped here and sold at Walmart. The jobs at Libby Glass are going to be non-existent because they're not going to be able to compete. The company's bottom line is going to be horribly affected, and therefore they're either going to lay off people, move their factory to China or Mexico or someplace where they have a reasonable energy strategy. Okay, so there you go. You know, I don't remember now how many people Libby Glass employs, but I think at one time they employed something like 3,200 or 3,800, something like that. So all those people with good paying jobs, sayonara, sayonara, you know. And the thing of it is that not only will electricity go through the roof, but so will the price of natural gas. Because more and more utility companies, because they can't burn coal, according to the EPA, is switching over to natural gas. Now, and Kerry pointed out, they're not switching to windmills or solar panels, because that's not going to get it done. Reality check, it ain't going to get it done. So they're switching over to natural gas because natural gas is abundant. The problem is that that's going to put pressure on the natural gas supplies. I don't care how abundant it is. All right, when you start generating electricity with natural gas, it's going to change everything. Price of natural gas is going to go up. So Libby Glass is going to have higher electricity rates, higher natural gas rates. How do we expect them to continue to employ Americans to do these jobs? Now, here's where Obama's... Either Obama is freaking stupid, or this is all by design. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Because it wasn't that long ago that he was spewing some nonsense about how we need to do what we have to do to get manufacturing jobs back in the United States. Well, why would anybody want to have a factory? Why would anybody want to build a factory or keep a factory in this country when you can't afford the electric bill? Watch that video from Kerry to get an idea of what we're talking about as far as jacking up electric utility costs. You can't compete. It's impossible to compete. China does not have an issue at all with burning this, generating affordable electricity for its factories. And by the way, I will also say that China does not burn this stuff anywhere near as clean as we do. The last time I checked, we all live on a planet. So you green fools who are pushing all the manufacturing jobs to China, even though you don't see it that way, but that's exactly what your policies are doing, are really adding more carbon to the air. If that's really your argument, that the carbon into the atmosphere is a horrible thing for us, you're not doing anybody a favor, because let me tell you something. You go to China and spew your nonsense and see what happens. You know, they're liable to stick you in a prison. Or worse. So China is going to end up being, of course, they pretty much, I mean, seriously, people, they're heading that way quick. They're going to be the big manufacturing dog on the planet. That's why they have all the money they have. Historically, the people with the manufacturing base had all the money. When the United States was the world's leader in industry, we had all the money. Now look what China's doing. China's blowing through everybody. What is it, the world's second largest economy right after us? And it won't be long before they take over. It will not be long. Trust me on that. So when you listen to Colonel Kerry explain how your residential utility electric bills are going to go through the roof. And by the way, if you heat with natural gas, count on that going up too. Because like I said, as industry... or as natural gas is used to generate electricity as over coal, that the price of that's going to go up too. So you're screwed. This is the cost of this green nonsense. This is the cost of what the EPA is doing. And I don't think Barack Obama is intelligent enough to figure that out. He's been sold a bill of goods by these radical left-wing enviro nuts that he thinks he needs to get reelected. And it's screwing the pooch. Literally, it's screwing the pooch. I mean, and there's a lot more to say about this, and I will be making more videos, but I just want you to know that the powers that be, the EPA, Lisa Jackson, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, who have this war on coal going on, is going to destroy manufacturing jobs in the United States. Okay? And the sad thing about it is that even if you're lucky to still have a manufacturing job in the United States, if you're lucky to have a job with a manufacturer that pays decent money, you're still going to have a huge chunk of money taken out of your paycheck every month to pay your utility bills. And it's going to be staggering. Absolutely staggering. But I will tell you, as it stands, I don't know how American industry survives this. I really don't. Because it's a bottom line thing. If your cost of manufacturing goes up tremendously, you have to try to pass that along to the consumer. And when the consumer can no longer absorb that, then you have to move your manufacturing overseas to a place that's much more reasonable when it comes to, shall we say, EPA regulations. Well, EPA. Most of these countries don't even have an EPA. So... yeah, it is what it is, and it's the beginning to the end of our civilization as we know it. I can't help it. It reminds me of the REM song. It's the end of the world, and we know it. Something like that. As we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine. Which I don't feel fine, because it's killing me seeing this happen. It's killing me. I'm watching this whole thing unfold. And it's like a slow motion horror movie. You know, it's like you're watching this horror movie and you see the killer in the shadows and you see the victim and you're like, you can't take it because you're like, come on, he's right behind you. He's right behind you. He's going to kill you. He's got a big knife. He's going to kill you. Oh my God, can't you see it? That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm watching a slow motion horror movie. And the victims, which are the people of the United States, don't see Barack Obama behind them with a big butcher knife, ready to take their heads off. I got a lot more to say about this. I hope you all come along with this and spread the word, sound the alarm. This war on coal is going to destroy the manufacturing jobs in this country. It's going to destroy families. People are going to lose their homes. They're going to lose their livelihoods. And for what? For some green nonsense? Seriously? When's the last time you went out of your house and go, man, I could really breathe, but there's just too much coal in the air? Freaking ridiculous. All right, I'm out of time. See ya!